LeBron James had a great compliment to be made to rookie Dalton Knecht. LeBron said 16 teams messed up by not drafting Knecht after Dalton had a tremendous performance against Utah Jazz, scoring 37 points and making 9 threes. He's shooting over 50% from the field and over 40% from behind the arc. He's been amazing. He's been an incredible rookie. And as LeBron mentioned, 16 teams messed up because Knecht has looked so good. Many thought now he should have gone earlier. But the reality of the situation is 16 teams didn't mess up. The Lakers just made the right decision for their team. When you look at the NBA draft and when you look at how it all breaks down, Dalton Knecht doesn't fit the model of earlier teams wanting him. Sure, he's having an instant impact, but teams drafting early in the draft don't need or even want an instant impact. They want someone who can be a superstar, who can be a 1 or a 2 on a championship level team. At the end of the day, Knecht has the highest floor because of the dominance he showed throughout college, right? Just like Zach Edey had the highest floor because of the dominance he showed throughout college. But with that said, they also have the lowest ceilings. Knecht is 23, Zach Edey is 22. What you see is what you get. A player like Zachary Richardson from the Atlanta Hawks has had spark moments. He's had 30-point games. He's had 25-point games. He's had games where he's shown that he can be an elite player, but he isn't consistent with it. That's because he's so much younger. He's 19 years old. He has a lower floor, right? Because if he isn't developed correctly, things can go sideways. But his ceiling is 10 times higher because he's younger. He can learn more things. His framework is great. He's a player that has a high floor. So sure, Knecht could have been an instant 15 points per game, 12 points per game to a lot of NBA teams. But the chances of him being a 20-point, 25-point per game player at any point in his career is slim to none. Picks 1 through 10 are there for a reason. It's because they're a bad team. They should always draft for potential. The first 10 teams made the right decisions. Zachary Richardson, Alex Sarr, Cody Williams. Heck, even Reed Shepherd, somebody who's still a young player, has potential to be a great NBA player. They can learn. Picks 11 through 14, that should be based off of where's your team at? Did you just have a star player get hurt and you happen to have an earlier pick? Or are you a team that just outperforms better and you still need to bet on potential? Take the Memphis Grizzlies, for example. Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. were out last year. So when they looked at their roster, they felt like all they needed was an instant 10-10 from a center. So they took Zach Edey. But then you look at other NBA teams within the NBA draft of 2024 that were within that range. And they took players that they needed for potential because they just outperformed how they did. Take the Bulls, for example. Matisse Buzelis from the G League Ignite, a young player. The Bulls outperformed what they were supposed to do, and they needed a youth movement. And then picks 15 and down, that should be based off of fit. What does your team need? Okay? And that's what the Lakers did. They took a team fit. All those teams 15 and down made the playoffs. So it's about fit at that point. And that's what, that's what the Lakers were doing. They said, well, we need three-point shooting. Let's get Dalton Knecht. So I'm not going to say that teams messed up. I'm just going to say that they made the right decisions for their organization. A perfect example of this, if you want to have an example, is take a look at the 2023 NBA draft. Last year, Bilal Coulibaly was probably the most controversial pick of that entire draft because he was coming from France, couldn't shoot the three, was averaging like 4 points a game. He had nothing to show for on his stat line. Last year, he struggled for the Wizards. He didn't perform well. But the pick was based off of potential. Now, he is one of the best defenders he's arguably the best defender on that team. One of the best defenders in their conference, and he's scoring 15 points per game. He's growing and evolving as a player. He went pick 7. This time last year, people were saying that the 18th pick in the draft, Jaime Jaquez Jr., should have been the player drafted ahead of him. Why? Because Jaime Jaquez Jr. made all-rookie first team. He was a Rookie of the Year potential top 3. He was top 3 in Rookie of the Year voting. He was doing really, really well. Why? It's because he was older. He had a high floor. He could contribute instantly because he has so many years of playing in college basketball. It's so many years of success to show you that, well, yeah, he'll be an instant contributor. Because the players that play the best in college or pro leagues, wherever they may be for the NBA, will be the best, right? Usually older guys. Like a Jaime Jaquez Jr., who was a 4th year from UCLA. Now what is he doing? He's putting up 9 points per game. He's fine. His ceiling's lower, though. Nobody messed up. 16 teams did not make a mistake by not drafting Dalton Knecht. They just made the decision that was best for their franchise, just like the Lakers did. The Lakers' decision's paying off well for them, and the other teams hope that in a few years, their decision pays off well for them too.